Hello and welcome back to Penny Plays and yet another vintage board game we've got to share with you today. So,
now I'm rather excited about this one.
Are you?
Yeah.
Now, okay, so if you watched our previous video, which is on the channel, where we did a vintage board game haul from Vintage 72.
Yeah.
Is it 72 or 74?
72.
72. I don't know why I'm thinking 74.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you watch that video from there, you'll see that one of the things we picked up was a copy of the game Centipede, which is one of a series of games that MB Games did, which was board games based on arcade games.
Yes.
So imagine my delight when I was in a charity shop the other day and just saw, ta-da! So, yet another one from MB. As I said in the last video, which was the one about the wrestling challenge. Wrestling challenge?
Wrestling, WWF challenge, yes.
Wrestling challenge, yeah. As I said in the video about that, we've had a flurry of MB games recently, and Turbo is yet another one. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know the game Turbo at all. So was this an arcade, like old style amusement arcade game?
Yeah, it was...
made by Sega.
Made by Sega. I don't just throw this
product
together,
placement there.
But yeah, it was a game on like the
F1 racing type
F1
thing?
racing on an early console. I don't remember it the first time round. I've kind of seen it since.
So was it actually a home console? We didn't have home consoles then, did we?
No, this was more this was based on the arcade game. So
okay,
yeah,
so
so
down
no,
the
when I say
arcades.
console, I meant arcade console.
Okay, all right. So, but I believe, looking at the copyrights on here, that the game itself was 1982, the Sega game, and then the board game version was 1983.
Yep, that's about right.
And I found this for an amazing £3 in a charity shop. And looking at the price labels, when I peeled them off, there was another one underneath which suggested it had been there since March,
right?
Which is about 4 months ago, and had been at £4 and no one had bought it. But it's complete.
Yes.
Every single thing is there, which is amazing.
Nothing's broken, nothing's lost. So, particularly quite pleased that these little cars, the little race cars, are all there.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them. So, as we've suggested, it's a racing game.
Yep.
F1 style racing, I guess, because it's based on the cars that we have.
Yeah.
And you've got a game board, which you can see is obviously a racetrack, start-finish line here.
Yep.
Around it goes. You've got a chicane area, you've got an ice area, which we'll come on to in a bit. Instead of having dice, you've got a quite funky pair of spinners here. I'll explain why there's two spinners in a moment, but obviously designed to look like the inside the cockpit of your F1 car, which is quite cool with the fuel gauge and temperature gauge and stuff on there. But the most impressive bit for me in the game is the fact that you've got all these little cars. So it's a game for 2 to 4 players. We've tried it out with 2 players.
We have.
I think it's actually would be better with 4, but there's only 2 of us.
There's a little bit more to it when there's 4 players. So yeah,
we'll come on to how you play in a minute. But the key thing is that the playing pieces are these tiny little F1 cars, which are incredibly cute.
Yeah.
So you've got 4 of those in red, yellow, blue, and green. But they're not the only cars on the board, are they?
No, you get these little grey ones, which are...
is it 13 or 16? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16
There
of
are
those.
16 of these.
And they were all there, which is amazing.
They're all there, all in one, all in one piece, that sort of thing. So these go on the... and then there's also...
An ambulance.
An ambulance.
I think nowadays we call it the medical car, don't we?
The medical, yeah. So that's quite cool. And these all have their part to play in the game, obviously.
So, but it's quite cool just to find a game that old where the box is all beautifully. There's a little bit of wear and tear to the box, but you kind of expect that when it's that old. I mean, that must make it 83. That must make it 36 years old.
Let's just not go there. Let's not think about that.
Okay, let's on with the game. On with the game. So, grey cars. Do you want to explain where those go on the board?
So you've got lots of these little grey cars, as we said. How many? 15?
16.
16 of them. 16 of them, and these are basically your obstacles.
Blocking cars.
Blocking cars. So on the board you will see that we've already placed a few round. Here's what we've done earlier, as it were. And there are these little blue dots here, which these are where the grey cars go. So you can see there's a blue dot there on that one. So we have one there left near the start finish line and one there. So that's the grey cars, the blocking cars. You then have your ambulance, or medical, whatever you want to call it, and that goes rather obviously on the little
red cross
thing. That's basically the setup of the game. Fairly simple.
Yeah, now the grey cars don't actually move during play.
No.
So imagine when you're playing an arcade game and you'd always get some cars that were just in the way and it wasn't clear if anyone was controlling them or whatever. That's kind of the role of the grey cars here today.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to have two of us playing, so we'll pick blue and green for now.
We all seem to pick blue and green. That's
I'll
fine.
move the red and yellow cars.
I don't know which colour I normally have, but I'll have green this time.
That's fine. Now, to decide who goes first,
yes,
we spin the spinner.
Spin the spinner, so we can leave it there because it should hopefully show everything.
We just spin one spinner though, don't we?
We spin one spinner. We win spin one spinner each. We could
do it.
So highest spinner will get pole position, which in this game. So I've got two. So pole position is the closest to the inside corner of the first corner. So that would be pole position.
That's I go next.
And then if you had obviously 3 and 4 players, they would do also a spin, and it would be third and fourth, so on and so forth. Right. So this is where you start the game. I will start playing because I'm in pole position. So you spin both spinners in your go. So you spin 1, 2. So now I'm getting these. I wasn't getting this before. So basically, how it works is you have the first spinner.
Or you can choose which one.
Yeah, the first. So in this example, I've got 6 and 6. But so you choose which spinner you want to move your car, but you have to move your car first. And
you have to use up all the points
if you
on your move as well.
Yeah, if it's a move that if you can't move your car, then you don't move your car. So the moves go as follows: you can move forwards, up or down, and diagonally, but you cannot move backwards.
Can you move left or right? I thought you could only move left or right. This is where we consult the rules.
Yeah, I thought you. Oh no! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I started.
No, you can only move. You can't move sideways or backwards.
So you can move forward or diagonally to overtake. So I've got 6 and 6 on this example. So the first thing I'll move is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, the advantage you'd have is to stay on the inside of the corners as you would in racing. So the second spinner, and again you can choose which spinner you want, you then move either the opponent's car, which in this case,
an opponent's car if there's more than one opponent.
An opponent's car, which in this case would be pointless because I will just move her closer to me, or you move the ambulance. So 6. So you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right.
Now it's your go.
So 5 and 4. So I will use the 5 because that makes obvious sense to do that with my car.
Just move that back a second.
So if I'm going to go forward, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And then 5. So I'm right behind you. Am I allowed to do that? I don't see why not, because there's a space in between us. There's rules about going in between vehicles,
yeah, there is.
But I think that's only if there's only one space between.
Yeah, you can do that. That's fine. There's no reason why you can't do that.
Okay, and then I'm going to move 4.
Yeah.
Again, there's no point moving your car forwards, but if I go 1, can I go there?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Now you see that's a good position for the opponent to do because it's now blocked
the way into the first corner.
Because, and we'll get there. So when you get to the corner, you cannot. You can go out wider, but you cannot come back in again. So, for example, if you're here and you get 3, you can go 1, 2, 3 if you wish. But if you're here, you have to go 1, 2, 3. You cannot come back in.
You can't go back in on the corner. So that's the sections of the board where you've got the thicker yellow line.
Yes. So you strategically need to be at the easiest, the inner corner, most as far in as you can get in the corner before you start the corner.
That's the advantage. Yeah. So by placing the ambulance there, I'm hopefully blocking you from doing so. So
we spin again. 5 and a 1. So obviously I will use the 5. You don't have to use the 5. You don't have to use the higher number of yours. It's just you can choose which one you want to use. So I'm going to use the 5. So I now need to go on the outside. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I've entered the corner. I can only go wider. I can't go in more. So and then I can move the ambulance 1, and
or me 1, but
or you 1. Yeah. So it kind of makes I can move 1 there.
So 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, like there, and I'll move the ambulance on 1.
Yep.
Oh, hang on, no, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Can't count.
And so 2 and 6. So I would then go obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to move B, and 2 for the ambulance. So I would say 1, 2.
So nice block created there for me. So 5 and 5. So I've just got space to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brings me up to there. Now, can I bring the ambulance out there?
Yes, because it's diagonal move.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fine then. I can go in, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which blocks the inside line to that corner.
It does, yes.
Now, we might cut a bit out here because it might be a bit boring until we get to an obstacle. So, we'll be back.
Yep. And 1. Okay. 3 and 1.
This is where it gets interesting. Possibly 3. So 1, 2, 3. I'm forced there.
Yeah.
Now 1. I move here. Now this part on the board
is a
chicane, which means that we're down to 1 lane as such. Anyway, as we go around this bit, the track has already narrowed anyway. It was 4 wide before, and we're down to 3 wide now for this section anyway, just by virtue of the corner.
Yeah.
So I've moved the ambulance there. So let's see what you roll, because it could be that you can't actually use everything you roll, or you have to be quite careful.
6. So I'm unable to. So because there's not enough spaces.
You don't have to use the 6 on your.
I'm unable to use 6. Sorry, yes, I do apologise. I'm unable to use 6. So I'll have to use the 2. So that will slow me down, obviously. So I'll do 1, 2. So now I can move.
You could either move me 6 or you can move the ambulance.
You see, this is where you would want to necessarily move your opponent, because the ambulance is already blocking the way. So do you move your opponent?
It's tactics. It's race tactics.
So do you move your opponent? So they also get blocked, but then it does mean that on their go they can move They will have to mean on their go.
But then it's moving the ambulance to free you up, maybe.
Yeah. So that's kind of so. What I'll do here then, I will do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right.
So 2 and 4. Now I'm supposed to normally move me first, aren't I?
Yeah.
And I can't move me.
No.
And I can't move you 2 either. So I have to move the ambulance.
See, this is where do you not move at all? But no, I think you have to move the ambulance.
It says you always have to do your second move.
Yes.
But I can surely choose from the 2 or the 4. So I could just move the ambulance 1, 2, like that.
Yeah, true.
Or actually, 1, 2, like that.
Okay. Yeah. So 6 and 2. So now I could move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 2 for the ambulance. You see, the ambulance can't move 2.
It can. You know, 1,
oh, 1,
2.
2, you can. Sorry, yes, for 1, 2.
You see, if you hadn't been able to move the ambulance 2, you'd have had to have moved me.
So now it's interesting, because now it's completely blocked.
Watch me roll a 6 now. No,
3.
1 and 3. Okay.
So you're fine.
So 1, 2, 3, and then the 1 takes the ambulance onto the corner.
Yep.
Right, time to play on until we get to the next feature, I think.
Yep.
Right, so now we're up to an interesting bit.
Yes, so we have now the ice field, whatever it's called.
I can't remember what they call it now.
And this is the only part. This is the only part of the
ice field.
The ice field. The only part of the course where the previous rules don't apply. So the idea of this part is that it's the hazardous area. So your car can move forward, back, diagonally both ways.
Yeah, and
so
sideways,
and
pure sideways,
so,
and backwards.
Yes,
so which you couldn't do before.
So and also it can occupy the same space twice in one turn.
So you can kind of imagine this was
you
could go backwards, forwards a few times, stuff like that.
So
this is where it becomes really advantageous to possibly move your opponent's car to keep them in the ice field. Basically.
So
this is where you spin one and don't get in.
Yeah,
You've got a 5.
I got a 5. So here we go. So what I would do then now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, because I'm doing it for the camera, I would have just done the one then. I would have just gone one to not go in the ice field too soon. But we're just
so and then one for you.
So one for the ambulance.
Or me.
Yeah, or you. But
I'm not there yet.
No. So the ambulance is it's not currently blocking, but you want to leave it in the ice field so you can move it where you want. Actually. 6. So you might get in now. You will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and you've got 1.
Sorry, and 1.
So now this is where the game completely changes.
There we go. I'm doing that actually for now.
So 5. So that wouldn't get me out. Yeah, 5 and 4.
5 would actually.
Okay.
Jammy thing.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
See, what I did wrong was I moved the ambulance and didn't move you then.
Yeah.
But that's my fault. But then there's 4.
So now 4. So now I can really I can basically 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you very much. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm still in there.
3 for the ambulance, or
3.
me if you wish.
Well,
but that'd be stupid, wouldn't it?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so as the game climaxes now, so it's 5 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't mean anything being on there, does it?
No.
And then 2, so I can take 1, 2, move back. So you see, you can never leave the ice field. That's the
6 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I can't come in here.
No.
You see, the ambulance can get 6 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But that doesn't really help me. And unless you get 2 1s, 2 2s. I was close.
So 2, 1,
2,
2.
And you're the winner.
There we go.
The only other bit I'd comment on is if the ambulance is the first thing to cross the start-finish line,
it's out.
Then it's out.
The game doesn't finish. You just can't use the ambulance.
Can't use the ambulance.
You might think, what's the point of the ambulance? But the ambulance is really there to use as a
blocker, really.
As a way to block, especially in the chicane areas, or if you're around the obstacle.
But I think if you're playing with 4 players, imagine you've got 2 more cars on there. So each turn you've got a choice of moving either the ambulance or 3 opposition.
Yeah.
You can cause a lot more chaos.
You can, I think, and I think it would be a lot more fun with more than 2 players because of that. Because you've got all the 4 cars on, it'd be really, really hectic.
But I quite like this because I quite like that it's not just a pure race to the end. You've got the blockers, the grey cars, which kind of adds a nice little element.
And the ice field is a nice little touch as well, where you can that is the bit that's
the bit that, especially in the 2-player game, causes the most chaos. And it's kind of nice that that's towards the end. But I do wonder if it'd be a different game if it was like halfway around the track or something like that, when you haven't got then just the quick dash to the end.
Possibly. I mean, you could if you wished. I suppose it's up to you. It's your game. Sorry, it's your game. That you could go the other way. You could go that way around.
I suppose, yeah.
And also, it does suggest in the rules actually that you can move the cars around. You can move these.
You could
cars
put the grey ones wherever you want instead of the predefined.
Obviously,
slots.
you can't put 4 in a row because that would be stupid. But you could put them in other places, other positions.
No, it's kind of nice.
So,
I like it, and I like the way that it's kind of kept that slightly retro-y style of arcade game.
Yeah.
Whilst being in a board game.
I mean, you can tell it's an 80s game because the Formula 1 cars are big fat things.
Yeah, they've got that look about them, haven't they? Very 80s. You'd expect Nigel Mansell to step out on one of them.
Yes.
Basically. So anyway, that was Penny Plays Turbo. Fantastic vintage 1983 game from MB Games. Recommended age range is 7 to 14.
I
think that's about right. I don't know why there's an upper age limit.
No, because it's because of the times. Because back then, video games were video games, so it's considered that it was a kids' thing. But now it's
14.
14
2 to 4 players.
People who were 14 when this game was out are now kind of our age and still playing that sort of stuff.
They're older than us, children who were 14 when this game came out.
I was
older than us and stuff. Anyway, that was Turbo. If you like this, click like and subscribe down below. Make sure you're following us. Also head over to Facebook, where if you search for Vintage Board Games UK, there's a Facebook group where we share lots of the vintage board game stuff we do, and we ask people to share what they find at car boot sales, charity shops and everything else. And we will see you again soon for another vintage board game. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye. Cool.